For those of you that own a Ninebot Max scooter, I just wanted to go over a few things about removing or replacing the tires. These tires are tubeless. You also want to have the proper parts to this job. They are extremely hard to get on and off. So I researched online and did not find a lot of information about it. Therefore, I'm making this video so that you go about it the right way. So when removing or replacing a flat tire as a result of a puncture or whatnot, you'll want the proper tools. One, you'll need tire levers similar to like the metal or plastic levers to actually pry the tube or the tire rather off the rim. Once you've worked that around, you'll need about 3 of them just to get enough pry action around the rim for it to give way. You'll want clamps. Like the hand clamps that you see on Amazon. Those are you're gonna clamp those around the tire edges so that it first breaks the seal, and then 2, so that you can get your levers in there to start prying the tire off the rim. So now that you have the the tire off and the rim is exposed, what you want to do now to make yourself life easier is you'll want to perhaps maybe leave the new tire in the sun for a little bit just to get it some flexibility in it. And then you're going to want what's called bead setter. That's BEAD setter. You can find it on Amazon, but that is the key to all this. There's lots of key steps, but that's one of them. It's basically like a lubricant that you rub all around the inside walls and outside walls of the tire and rim, so that when you go to either put it on or when you're ready to set the tire and inflate it, that it actually will, the bead will set in the rim. If you're not familiar with tubeless tires, there's an outer edge on either side of the rim that the tire has to actually sit on. When you put the tire on initially, you do not you have not set the bead, so the tire will have trouble inflating. I've taken it to numerous, like a bike shop, a tire shop, etc. Even my local Costco has nitrogen air. I was not able to set the bead with any of those. My bike shop had 90 psi air, still not working. So what did I do? There's a couple tips from a scooter repair gentleman that I had dialogue with. One, take the stem out of the Schrader valve. There's a stem inside there. You'll need a little tool to unscrew the stem in there. The reason why is because you want to shoot a bunch of air in there all at once. And with the stem in there, it's hard to do. So take the stem out. I assume by now you are able to actually put the tire back on using the bead setter solution and the pry bars to actually get the tire on the rim. But as far as inflating it goes, you will need a high PSI air compressor, something to the degree of about 100 to maybe even as high as 130, 150. I think I set mine at around 120, 125 PSI, and that was enough to get the inflation to hold air in the tire. And what I mean by that is you're using the air compressor gun with a rubber bead on the end that you're just basically shoving inside the valve that with the stem out to inflate a bunch of air in at a high PSI. Now the tire max PSI is only 55 max PSI, so be careful not to add too much air all at once, but do add enough air to what you're trying to do is to get the bead around the tire to set on the rim. And without enough pressure, it won't. So Once you lubricate the tire and rim thoroughly with that bead setter, that is essential because that will allow the tire to get enough pressure to form that seal and to set the bead, they call it, around the tire around the rim. Once you do that and the bead is set, meaning the tire has actually sat onto the rim, then obviously the air is going to flow out because you don't have the stem in the valve. So let the air come out. The bead has already been set. Put your stem back in, tighten that down, then inject with, call it 55 psi, maybe a little less, and it should be holding air, and you will save yourself so much time, headache, bloody knuckles, just so stressful. It took me days to figure this out. I also tried a light starter fluid trick where you spray inside the wheel and then ignite it. Do not try that. It's a waste of time, in my opinion. The rims are way too small and the tires are way too tight in there. It's a lot of people warn that that's extremely dangerous and that it would essentially, the tire could explode or explode on in your face or hands. So again, don't bother with that method. That might work if you're stranded out in the desert or working on, tractor tires or larger tires. But in this case, this is the best method that I have found, and I researched a lot, all the YouTube videos and online to try and figure out what is the best way to do this. Also, someone else had also recommended maybe using a nylon string or even like a tie down strap around the rim to compress the tire to get a nice seal on it when I'm injecting it with air. That didn't really help me all that much, but some people might find that helpful. Anyway, I hope this helps, and I'm sure someone out there will have to replace these tires, and they're extremely difficult to replace without these steps. Thank you.